Precious souls, when I woke up from my dream time, I received a very interesting channeled message. And then when I sat with it for a bit, and then I asked Spirit, am I meant to share this? And the answer was a glaring yes. So I sat with it longer. I let it just kind of whirl about. Then I received a series of other channel messages. So I'm called to say that these are gifts that I'm meant to share with you. These are divine gifts. Some of you have been saying, where are these gifts? I've been asked to share these gifts to unlock and expand. Goosebumps, thank you, Spirit. To expand your minds and to give you the tools you need to cut through certain illusions. Ooh, I got goosebumps. So, only those who are ready to hear this and who will use this, I ask Archangel Michael, thank you, who will use this in the best interest in all and the highest good of all and harm to absolutely no one, will receive this and actually watch to the end. And if you want to save it, that's fine. If you feel like there's somebody that you intuitively and with your discernment know can use this information, you can share it with them. Okay, bear with me, because what happened is I woke with that channeled message and it was so strong. It was so strong. And I said, but how do I deliver this message? Because perception is everything. And my perception might be different than those that will understand what I'm talking about. And then they gave me another channeled message. And then after that, I'm like, well, yeah, now I really need to explain this deeper. And they gave me another. They gave them to me backwards. Okay, enough chatter. Let's get to it. I actually wrote some down because this is also a part of it. We tend to get lost. We can get bombarded with information. And this is a part of the disruption that comes in to yield a lack of clarity, so that messages cannot come through. And so that tasks that you came to do cannot happen. So let's start backwards. The last channeled message that they gave me is to explain, and you've heard this before, I'm sure, if you're hearing this now, okay? The experience you have been seemingly made to go through, that you've endured, I will say. Yes, all of those experiences. The reason we are told to embrace change and not sit still is because the more experiences you have, the more that spirit can send electrical pulses. I received electrical stimuli, signals, thank you, to awaken these memories. Picture a giant library in your beautiful gray matter. And like they say, certain memories don't even get unlocked. We don't even utilize most of our brain, they say, right? Well, this is going to unlock this. So all of these experiences and memories, not only in this lifetime, in other lifetime. Hi, sweetie. This is the big one. You're going to have to let me do it. It's like they can, stimulate a certain book to fall out so that an image can come forward. This is how a lot of you receive messages from the divine. So you are not able to bring forward messages for others unless you have something in that library, an experience, if you will, okay? A memory. So, for instance, for me, I receive messages in so many different ways. There are so many different clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, but one of these is very important, and this is very common for you, is an image will flip up. The book will open. And that's why the divine has put you through such an intense journey. Woo, goosebumps, thank you. Because the experiences you are meant to, these messages you're meant to share, involved connecting with people who have had experiences as deep, dark, and difficult as what you've attained. This was just the first message. This is the introductory. I'm going to do a quick schooling and cramming. So if you're still here, good. This is for you. So these experiences were all very much important. And that's why you got called or have even been placed in very difficult circumstances. And you will continue to be. And just know you are filling this library full of experiences so that deeper, more detailed messages can get through to all different people. Oh, I got goosebumps. Oh, you are so trusted with this. This is so beautiful. You're opening up, okay? Then I received, before that, which as I said, how is everybody, not everybody understands or has had the same experiences. And they said, the Sims game. Now this goes back. Not all of you have played Sims, but in essence, what it is we pick up a controller. We're given a human in a game, all right, and then we are pretty much power slammed with everything a human would need, which is, they have to go to the bathroom, they have to eat, they have to have this, they have to have comfort, they have to have this and a job, and it just keeps slamming you, and they're constantly, these Sims, they're uncomfortable or they have a headache, and they got this little bubble showing what they need, and then you got to hurry up and get it, and you're only given so much money in the beginning, and you got to create a shelter, you got to buy food, you got to put out fires, you got it. It's life in a video game. And I said, Sims, oh, you want me to explain to them that we're living in a simulation. Some of you are going to duck out now. Oh, scroll. Good. Okay, they weren't ready. It's okay. This simulation, your soul, your real soul, your true soul is in another dimension, okay? This is your little sim. Who you are is an aspect of your soul. An essence of your soul is inside, okay? You are being trusted to be this person, this individual, this Sims character, if you will, okay? The reason we come here is because where we come from, it's not the same. You cannot learn by just opening a book and reading with no emotion, right? We don't have the intense emotions. We're not like that where we really come from. So here we have the intense emotions, which we really learn from, okay? And getting our hands dirty, by getting injuries. We learn more from this than opening a book and saying, they fell in love. What is that? So we came here to learn. Okay? Thank you, Spirit. Let's keep going. So think of this simulation that we've created. We've created this matrix, but it is bombarded with those who want to try to control things in this matrix, okay? They don't just want you to come here and learn. Now, each serves the other. Black and white, ebb and flow. It's yin and yang. You cannot have the light without the dark without the light. So there's always going to be adversaries, if you will, okay? And we all learn from each other. But those who want to control these little Sims characters, they provide the interferences. As in the game, they will, something will catch fire, the plumbing will break, the person is hungry, or boom, they have to fall in love with this character, and if you've ignored them too much, then they're breaking up. All of the calamity, if you will, okay? It's all to help us grow, because if we didn't feel these experiences, we wouldn't be able to take from this library and open it up and say, remember that time? Okay, so now I'm getting messages. So when there are, what is this? Emotions versus reading, yes. Experience smart and not book smart. So the anxiety, the feeling. And so there are those Sims controllers, we'll call it, matrix controllers, that try to continue to add adversity because they don't want the Sim to attain the family, the big money. This is your cheat code, 1221 on the clock. It's mirrored, okay? So, sorry, I'm trying to explain this the best way I can, but like I said, perception is everything. So I can only share with you my experiences, and lucky for you, I've had lifetimes of experience, and I'm also a dimensional being, multidimensional, okay? So I'm going to share this with you. Oh my gosh. Knowing that, this is the cheat code, because then as people played this game, The Sims, right, they learned you could do a cheat code, enter this code in before you even enter the game. And this gave you millions of dollars. You could have a fancy home. You could start up. And the more times we went in and played the Sims game, the more we'd catch on. Here's what needs to be attained. Only the important stuff first. Right? So you're not going to go in and you're not going to ignore all these neighbors ringing on your doorbell or the fire on the stove or the baby that's crying. You know now. Wait, I've got to attain wisdom before I get into this character too deep because I know what happens. This is lifetime after lifetime. You come back and you recognize, I need this. So, you get your Sims in there, you build your house. Even without the cheat codes, you got to build the house. They need something for comfort. There's a chair. They're going to need a refrigerator for food. You know what they need. And you're going to need a library because you're going to need those 3 books where they learn mechanical skills, all of that. You know which ones they need to learn. You do that immediately, and then you take off in the game. These cheat codes are showing you And this is lifetimes of your wisdom to understand what all of these things mean and why. You are being given, I can't tell you the goosebumps, the cheat codes to understand the why these things happened to you. It's because you came here, you wanted this, because you needed the ability to connect fully with spirit so that you could portray images to others by using your voice or by painting or by writing or by singing or by whatever this creative. There are images and you carry these codes in your DNA. And I'm allowed today, and I feel so blessed to be able to share this with you, to unlock these. Okay, now we've explained the Sims, the simulation, the Matrix. Now here's what I woke up to. Here's what I woke up to. My experiences when I was a little girl. I woke up to the song playing from Sharon, Lois, and Bram. Yes, I had the record, and I watched the show, and I loved it as a kid. And I had forgotten that. But it alerted me, and it said, who took the cookie from the cookie jar? And then they'd point to one another, right? Sharon took the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be, then who? All right, woo. So there was like a whole accountability thing. And I, as a child, I didn't know this. I just thought it was a really cool tune, right? And I liked the cookie jar. So then I said, what's with this cookie jar? As I woke up to the song, I said, what is this? Whew, this is the real big message. Now I get to show you something that's been happening behind the scenes and why. This is just one. This is going to help you unlock and see things. All of this. So I need a cookie jar. I didn't come prepared. Sorry, guys. Let's picture you're holding your cookie jar. Let's say cookies are energy or money or whatever it is, okay? Cookies in the physical are the sweetness. There's something that is yours, and it's like an exchange, okay? So maybe you were working matrix jobs. You were working 9 to 5. Maybe you were working weekends. It doesn't matter. You attained these cookies through an exchange of your energy. Something you did, something you provided, could have been a service, could have just been the generosity of somebody who said, here's some cookies. So you had a cookie jar full of cookies. I'm inviting in your inner child for this one. This is going to be awesome. Okay, check this out. You're holding your jar of cookies, and little by little, you would give one to another because, pay it forward. You would give a cookie to somebody. Look, I'm giving you my essence. I worked for this. I energetically traded something for this, and here's my cookie, and I'm going to give you one. Well, someone would get a taste of that cookie, and they're like, oh, that's good. And I don't have any cookies of my own. So there are some people that have the empty jar, and they're just going around collecting cookies. This is getting really weird. So you gave that taste of that cookie, and that person was like, oh gosh, I like your cookies. They're really good. And I haven't figured out how to get my own cookies. Or I've been programmed to believe that I need to manipulate people out of their cookies because I don't understand how to attain these cookies for myself. Or because I'm a cookie monster. That just came through. That's new. Thanks, Spirit. That was cool. Wow, we're in our childhood here. Cookie monster. Ah! All right, so you generously would give cookies to people. And it was your way of saying, won't you be my friend? Isn't this nice? I'm exchanging. I'm giving you something that is precious to me, but I'm sharing it in the hopes that you will also one day give me one of your other kind of cookies, and maybe I'll try that and say, wow, that's really nice. That's a nice exchange. But these individuals were taking your cookies, and they promise you, next time I get a batch, I'll open up my cookie jar. I just forgot it. It's at home, or whatever the case may be. And the cookies weren't coming back, and you were watching your cookies get depleted, and now you're starting to feel a little hungry, and you're like, I've only got so many cookies left. Maybe I better be more careful who I give my cookies to, because some of these people aren't replenishing my cookie jar. And I know I've got to go so long and live on these cookies. And so the hunger would kick in. And you're thinking, maybe I won't eat a cookie today because I might need it down the road. That's where the lack mindset kicked in, right? It's like, I don't know if I'm always going to have enough cookies because I gave so many of my cookies away and no one's giving me cookies back, and that's when the reaction and the survival mode comes in. So then you become kind of hoarding your cookie jar, right? A little bit. Not in a mean way, but you're protecting your cookies. Because every time something would happen, and these individuals learn that, hey, if we make something go on over here, I could slip my hand in and grab out of that cookie jar. So something would be going on over here, and these individuals learn how to do this, how to get you looking over there, wag the tail, I call it. Well, they took from your cookie jar, because they are not divinely connected or creating their own cookies or attaining their own cookies. They learned just to take cookies. So they never had another cookie to offer you down the road because they only get them when they take from others or manipulate in some way. So there's stuff going on here. Cue the Sims game, right? Oh no, you were cooking soup and it overflowed and the stove's on fire. Get the extinguisher. Oh, I forgot to buy one. And so calamities going on, and you're looking over there, and all the while you have to set down your cookies and someone's hands in the jar, until you get to the point where you don't even have cookies to exchange to attain these fire extinguishers or to feed that baby that's cried or, to go do this and buy books to learn, and you're finding yourself at the bottom with almost an empty cookie jar, just crumbs. But this is the point, okay? Because then you realize I have nothing. Everybody else took my cookies, and I don't even know if I feel secure enough to get out of this space that I'm in where I don't even have a car to get a job, to go get a job, to a matrix job, to go, try to get some cookies. I feel so deeply betrayed and so scarred and traumatized at the fact that no matter how hard I worked in life, all my cookies are gone. There's no one here helping me. I don't know what to do. And you were sat down with your crumbs in your cookie jar. And that's when the divine said, do you want us to help? And you prayed because there was nothing left for you to do. The bills were due. You were hungry. Things were happening. These fires were still being lit. The Sims game, all the stuff was going on. I still have to urinate, and there's no toilet, there's no bathroom. In fact, the house was, all of these things were going on, and your head is whirling. And that's when the ego's taking over with the fear. These people were successful at planting fear, lack mindset. I'm not trying to pin this on anybody else. I'm saying we allowed it, okay? But this is part of the awakening. And so while you sat there with your cookie jar, you had to put it down. It was almost empty anyways. Okay? But when you put it down and you said, I can't stop people from taking my cookies. I don't know what to do. Can you please help me? Help me. And that's when you were given this time alone. And because you're resourceful and you are actually a multifaceted being, yes, you are, if you're getting this message, you studied those crumbs. How do I make more? How do I make more? How do I get out? How do I trust again? How do I get out and find these outside of myself? How do I get these cookies? There's no one out there that wants to give me their cookies. They don't care that I love and I'm pure and all this. They don't care that I'm a hard worker and I've worked so hard. And how do I get out there and do this? And then you realized you got that no-brainer idea. Boom. You can make your own. Oh, goodness. So, the people stop coming around because they're putting their hand in the jar. There's only crumbs. You set the jar down. It's like, and what you don't realize was this was a trap. You were given and blessed with these cookies, knowing full well by divine that those who were going to take cookies and not give back were given the opportunity to either give or find it within themselves to go within and figure this out, or continue to take your cookies. So they were pointed out. They got crumbs all over them, Cookie Monster style. Their hands are covered in chocolate chip marks, okay? Yes, they were pointed out. And now your jar is empty, but you're looking at the crumbs and you're going, I need to figure this out for myself. I need to make my own cookies. Because the jobs that I went to, some of them had Cookie Monsters too, didn't they? Yes, they did. They would take more. They wouldn't give you what you were worth. So at the end of the day, the balance of the cookie jar, it was always less than what you knew you deserved. So you broke it down, you did your research, you went within, and you figured out how to create your own cookies. And you became the baker. You did. You said, oh my gosh, I just need a little bit of flour. And lo and behold, there was a way that you had that flour. It was either sitting in your dusty old cupboard, or there was just enough chump change, enough cookie crumbs to go trade it for flour and trade it for all of the ingredients for making new cookies. And oh my gosh, your cookies are the best because you had to be resourceful with what you had on hand. So what you did was you got the ingredient list and you had to modify it a little bit. This took some time. You were hungry. Those crumbs were sitting there, but you took the crumbs that were left and you used those resources to make so many delicious cookies. Instead of chocolate chips, which I don't have, I think I'll try adding jam. I've got jam sitting in the back of the fridge. What would happen if I did that instead? Oh, your cookies are incredible. And being left with the empty cookie jar is what it took for you to understand that out of what you believed to be desperation, but it was divine intervention, you were forced to go within and say, how can I create my own? Because I can no longer trust that I'll get a supply of cookies here, no matter how hard I work. I can no longer trust these individuals to give back what they took. How can I create my own? And you came out of this moment of hermit, this deeper understanding with this smell of these fresh baked cookies that have never been created before. It's because they were always these ingredients, back in your lineage, they made cookies like this back in the day. And nowadays, they just slap it together. You didn't have to buy these cookies. These are homemade and they come from your creative essence. Now the cookies could be anything. There's something you were gifted and it needs to be unlocked while you sit sometimes on your butt by spirit and say, okay, now you've got nothing. Now you have no choice but to go within and say, how can I get my own cookies? How can I create my own substance? And you had to stop looking at the fires on the stove and this, and you stepped outside of that matrix by going within. And you said, let them. If there's nothing I can do, I need to sit and ask spirit. I need to ask my ancestors, my spirit guides, please take these off me because I no longer have any understanding on my ability on what to do outside there. I need to be working on my recipe. I need to be bringing this forward. So while, this is getting deep because I just added this. Thank you for that channel message. While you were alone, not working a matrix job perhaps, not outside being your fluffy little self, giving delight. Everybody just saw from the outside. This is what they perceived. Oh my gosh, something's wrong with this individual. Look, they're a shut-in. They're not coming out offering cookies. We've taken all their cookies. They can't even now we are the cookie monster. They cannot offer any cookies. We've got that person squashed in their little place. Look, they're lazy. They're not working a normal matrix job. So they're just sitting in there. What are they doing? I don't know, because it's shut in, right? You were working on this beautiful recipe. So while people were labeling you and very, very willing to take this this gossip and this fifth-hand information, oh yeah, they gave up on life. They're not out there doing what they do anymore. They're like, nah. See, they're a mess. They have no cookies. They don't know what they're gonna do. They're not out working the matrix jobs. We don't know what they're doing. We think they're having a meltdown. We're not sure, but let's just leave them alone because they've got nothing we want. They don't have cookies anymore. And then your cookies are made and you're in there feasting and you're saying, actually, this time alone feels kind of good because the fires have burnt out. No, that stove might need replacing now, or, the plumbing issues, whatever it is. You found a sense of peace. You found a sense of comfort in being by yourself that you never had the courage to go and enjoy because it was fearful. I don't want to go within. I don't want to be in I don't want to be here with my cookies. I don't want to have, an empty cookie jar that I can't convince people, look, I'm worthy. Here's my cookies. Come here. You were made to, because you had to see your worth. And when you created this recipe of cookies, if you will, it started to make your mind go a little more open, right? And you said, wait, if I can modify these ingredients and make these cookies my own, what if I added this too? What if I added this? So all the while, people outside, they stopped swarming you quite so much. The vultures went on to another supply of cookies, right? An easier one, because your cookie jar's empty. So they think. Meanwhile, you're inside, all by yourself, creating a recipe book because you're multifaceted and you are multidimensional. And your mind just needed that crack open where, hey, maybe I got to look outside the box here. And because you did, it expanded more and more. You were co-creating and currently are co-creating with the universe on how good can this get. You are the cookie queen. Your abundance has always been there, your ability to manifest out of nothing. But you didn't see that connection. You didn't see because you were too busy at the time in the past before you learned this lesson, which was very important. Again, adding to this book of wisdom, all this library, that people who do not have this connection were taking what you had because you thought you had to work harder. So you did. You poured it out. You created so many cookies in your cookie jar thinking this was what I need to exchange in order to just be, accepted, whatever the case may be. But no, you're a master manifester. They didn't realize it was you all along. It wasn't the cookies you had in the jar. That's limited supply. You are unlimited. You can create from nothing. And it took you being forced to have an empty cookie jar in this simulation, in your little box, going, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And you were forced to be resourceful. And what you have come up with is a recipe like no other, but not just one, it is a book. And the more time you spend alone, the more time you have to come up with these concoctions. Oh, wow, what if I do an all-natural cookie? What if I do one that also does this? What you have gone down, expanded, like I'm seeing a starburst. And you are the star, but it's bursting and it's coming out from all of these different multifaceted ways. And all of your talents are being totally ignited. I've got goosebumps. Ignited at this time. And so when you come out of hermit, when you come out, you don't just have one cookie jar and everybody's going to want to be a part of this now. The vultures will come circling back. Hey, wait, do I smell something really good that I've never smelled before? Is this kind of cookie? Yeah. What is this? Oh, they've got a supply. But now. You know now that when, these challenges are being put around you, that these individuals are trying to explode something over here and you're not going to react because you're watching that cookie jar. No. These are my cookies. I had to figure this out. I had to go in and gruelly go through all of these experiences where I was put on my butt. And I had to figure this out. You need to figure out your own and supply your own cookies and learn how to supply it in such a great way that you can share it with others. But you, good sir or ma'am, have not done the work and you will not be tasting these cookies. This is my energy. My creative energy went into these. And I will no longer supply people because then I'm enabling them to continue to be the takers. I'm enabling them and stopping them from their own growth where they need to sit on their bum and they need to say, how do I get through this? Let them, but mind your energy and your cookies. You are a sacred being and you are being trusted with all of these recipes on how to bring your creative energy forward with everything that you've always had within instead of looking outside of yourself. You've got the key. Spirit, is there any more? They're saying, when you feel called to, and this will happen more fluidly, and it's not because you have an office where people go necessarily. You will be walking on the street. You will be able to randomly open each book in the library as it is needed to share experiences and images that you receive. You will need to have courage and confidence in yourself that the weird things that you blurt out that you're seeing from your past experiences pertain to these individuals that are being sent to you frequently. It'll become so rapid that your psychic abilities, your ability to receive these memories, and they pop up in your sleep while you're in line at the grocery store, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're a reader like me. These psychic images, they are pulses of electricity. You are an electrical being. Your heart is an electrical, not just a pump. It is an electrical connection to your soul. And you will be shown images. Yes, they are very important. They aren't just there for nothing. And some of them will lead you to creating new recipes. Some of them will lead you to understanding people that come forward. You will be able to read their shadows because your memories of when you went through your shadows are there so you can connect. You can see when someone is not being forthcoming because once upon a time you were not forthcoming. And you recognize that. The book opens to that page. Remember that time? Remember that time when you didn't think it mattered that your hand was in somebody's cookie jar and you were hungry and you thought, oh, no one will care. No one will notice. It's one cookie. Remember that time? And we needed to go through these experiences. Remember that time when this person did that? And when these images flip open, there's a reason. Listen to them. Pay attention to them. Some of these will be just for you, and some of these will be for others to hear from you. And you won't know sometimes why the book falls off the shelf and it opens to a bunch of daisies. But when you're doing a reading, that pertains to somebody. You have to have the confidence to say, why are daisies coming through? Oh my gosh. The reason is because just yesterday we bought daisies for my mom. You need to trust in your library. Every single experience, every memory is there for a reason. Spirit just came through. This one's big, guys. I guess you're ready to hear this. Okay. A lot of you may have experienced narcissism, narcissistic abuse, over time, being in survival mode constantly. Okay, the heart palpitations, the anxiety attacks, the fear, the insecurities, the oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to, the oven's on fire, the baby's crying, all of the. That was to get your cortisol levels at such a high level, which actually affects your memory. So the people in this simulation, matrix, whatever you want to call it, that continue to operate in these shadows, that want to keep control, it serves them very much to calcify your pineal gland. Why am I having a hard time with that? That's interesting. Oh, they're blocking. Okay, thank you. Take that off, please. It serves them for you to forget and to keep you confused so that you do not connect with these memories and you do not trust yourself. So people who have gone through these traumatic events, this is why it's so important to work through trauma and not run from it. These triggers are the pulses to say, hey, from your soul, we need to heal this. When someone triggers you, when you feel left out, left behind, abandoned, when you feel like you're not good enough, when you feel all these triggers, it's meant to stimulate something because your soul, your future self, if you will, the one who sees all, is telling you this needs healing. They could still control us because this keeps flipping up. They're getting reactions. And as well, is why you're told no contact with people who have narcissistic tendencies, who have tried to traumatize you, confuse you, gaslight you. They're trying to get this cortisol to block these memories so you don't have access to spirit. Oh, goodness. But in time, and just so you know, this is not permanent. Post-traumatic stress disorder. What is that word? Why are they blocking that? PTSD and CPSD, okay? So post-traumatic stress disorder and I forget what the C stands for. I don't know why. They're not letting me see this. I've gone through a lot of narcissistic abuse, by the way, but I've unlocked all of this. Like all of this, except look at how they're blocking this. So over a continued period of time. Okay, that's one of the most brutal abuse. When you've been abused and gone through trauma, one after the other, like I said, the simulation where it's this thing's going, and it just really, the cortisol actually shuts down your organs in survival mode. Okay, like you're in survival. So it's like, let's get all the blood pumping to one thing out of survival, to run or to hide or this actually your brain will heal itself. And the cortisol levels will return, okay? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. These are things that I've learned on my path. But as these come away, your memories unlock again. See, this is why I am certified in therapeutic hypnotherapy, is to unlock these for people who've gone through any traumas, even lifetimes ago, and to visit those lifetimes. But I'm not trying to push that on you. I'm just explaining what drove me to need these certifications. I've got 4 on my wall, okay? Energy healing, hypnotherapy, all of that, because I am someone who is going to bring justice to this world and help those who've gone through similar experiences, which is why my entire life has been filled with these in my simulation. It was allowed. I came here saying, I'm signing up for this. Of course, we don't remember this. As soon as we're born, we forget exactly what our plan was, right? You could visit the Akashic records and understand it better and meet with your divine team. That can be done through hypnosis also. But in the meanwhile, all of this was you. You chose this. You hopped in the game. You said, okay, here's how it's going to go. Because these are the pages I want in my library. I need to be able to empathize. I need to be able to pull from memories so that when I'm talking to others, I can understand through experiences. I can see it because spirit shows me. Boo, that reminds me. And you're an empath, right? So how many times have you been in a conversation, and actually you've irritated a lot of people, and this is part of it, it's fun, where you say, oh my gosh, that happened to me too. Almost everything you could say, oh my God, that happened to me too, right? You can empathize because all of your experiences and the people being brought in front of you are very similar, and you have information to exchange with each other. And it just keeps co-creating with the universe by expanding. And you're meant to deliver this information in this simulation to all of these souls, especially the ones that don't understand that they're in a simulation and they actually have way more power than they understand. And it starts with not being reactive, gaining control over our ego, which is in fear and it's triggered and all of this good stuff, by not being reactive anymore. Because once we're in our kitchen, in our house, with the doors locked and our cookie crumbs, and we figure it out, there will be those that try to come in and stop you from bringing this to light, from bringing your creative source energy out by creating and expanding with the divine. They are giving you the downloads, and your job with your wonderful little physical hands is to see past the emotional blow-ups and just keep working on what you're doing and then bringing it out and keep working and creating, and you are co-creating with the universe in such a way that you are completely recreating the broken systems that, like I said, I've said this before, but this is all going to make sense to you. The way that you've received injustice, you know what the problem is, you know what the solution is, you're going to help. The way that children have been treated, you've gone through it, you know what needs to be done, you're going to help. The way that people relate to each other, you figured it out. You're going to bring this out. It wasn't just for you to be a mouse in a maze and go, oh no, how is this all happening to me? Is there even a God? Oh, yes. So much so that your divine team allowed this to happen because you said, I need this to happen. Do not interfere. Allow me to go with this. Allow me to meet up in this experience. Allow me and be there for me when the chips fall. And they are. And they always are. And they've been there, some of them for lifetimes, okay? Some of your guides have been there through your lifetimes. You're besties. You guys support each other. I've got goosebumps like you wouldn't believe. I feel compelled to end it there. And if you listen to this entire thing, I love you so much. I know what you've been through, and I know how powerful you are, because only those who were meant to really hear this and unlock this, you're meant to help so many people through this deeper understanding. And you are not meant to sit in the sidelines. No. No, you're a true seer and a true speaker, and your library is intense. Your library of books is huge, wall-to-wall, wrap-around, floor-to-ceiling, and get climbing that ladder and check out some of these books. There's something you're meant to share. And I think now you've been given the tools to understand how this works. And you are the king and queen of this simulation. And you've been unlocked, babe. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. 12:52 on the clock. I'm going to look up angel number 1252 online and see what that means. That's got to pertain to something. Sending you so much love.